go home, go home, go hard, go hard, go home, go hard, go hard, go home, go home, go hard, go hard, go home, touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, go home, go hard, go home. Yeah, these championship rings on my hands now. In my head I'm top 10, yeah, that's hands down. You a squad, now you're looking man down. Funny how foes turn to friends now. Drive a race car like a Atari now. Call filling up, I need product again. Treat the business like a playground, might slide on you. Do a backflip, cause I'm mad rich. I'm the definition of what that is. Go hard, go home, go home. Go hard, go hard, go home, go hard, go hard, go home, go hard, go hard, go home. Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, go hard, go home, go hard, go home. I'm a warrior, I go back to back, they go back to back. If I top the top, then I double back and I'm topping that. Yeah, I beat my own records. Yeah, I gotta get money fetish. Same team, I don't set trip. Never dull, this electric. Went and put the rigs on my toes. Me and bro, that's the give and go. Stay 100, end zone. Keep them coming. I know. I won't flood my wrist, no, I'm not dumb like that. No. I just wanna give my mama 100 racks. Go hard, go home, go hard, go hard, go home, go hard, go home, go hard, go home. Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, go home, go hard, go home.
NathanIvey.com. Mr. Ivy know the show must go on. As far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised dogs, close fish, yeah, too strong. Team AI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than, oh, no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlative, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airwaves, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info about it? Hey, yo, Jono be the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of Grippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati Reds at. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 5-1-3, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning. Should police officers go to jail for deadly mistakes? There are about 3 court cases that I'm watching. This is one of them. This comes at a time when people are still dealing with the aftermath of the Ahmaud Arbery decision. So now we got to deal with yet another one. And you might have forgotten about this. This is the case of Dante Wright. And that's him right there holding what appears to be his son. Remember this case? This was sad. We even had video and everything. Dante Wright. And he was shot and killed by a white female police officer named Kim Porter. And it happened in Minneapolis. And she shot and killed him after she yelled out the word taser. Her defense is that she did not mean to use deadly force. Which begs the question, should police officers go to jail for deadly mistakes? If this was in fact an honest mistake, do you believe that she should face jail time? Or is it kind of like, oops, my bad, didn't mean to kill your son. Oops, my bad, didn't mean to kill the father of your child. Oops, my bad, didn't mean to kill your dad. But being a police officer is a tough job. While rare, it has happened before. Now, I'll give you the examples in the not so recent past, not too far past, in which police officers used deadly force. In one case, killed someone. Well, in this case as well. And I'll tell you what happened. Do you think she goes on trial? Her defense will be it was a mistake. It was an honest mistake. She killed a 20-year-old unarmed black man. His death sparked intense protests in Brooklyn Center at the same time that the city was already on edge after the Derek Chauvin situation with George Floyd. In the body-worn camera video, you can hear her say, quote, "I grabbed the wrong freaking gun. I'm going to go to prison." But is she though? Is she really? And as I understand it, the big question for the jury will be whether Potter's actions rose to recklessness or culpable negligence as the law requires. Now, how could it not be reckless? She was like a 20-plus year vet. As I understand it, she taught other police officers on how to use their taser and things like that. And so now you have a Gilligan moment that leads to someone's death. I'm not a legal scholar. I don't know all the ins and outs, but from where I'm sitting as just your average Joe with a superlative flow, I think she should do some jail time. I think if she doesn't do jail time, it sends a terrible message to the rank and file law enforcement. They can mistakenly kill somebody and walk away because it was an honest mistake. Well, you know what? As an average Joe, sometimes mistakes cost you. As an average Joe, sometimes mistakes cost you. Why should it be that way for police? Why should it be any different? You tell me, why should it be any different for the police? I don't think that it should. I don't think that it should. In my humble, this is just my opinion. Now, what the facts will be and the judge and the jury and all this kind of stuff, that's going to be something completely different. I don't know. Check out my dad sweater with the Argyles. I call these dad sweaters. I am a dad. Proud to say so. What do you think? Somebody writes, here comes a whole lot of I don't want to go to jail tears. You know that. You already know. Let the tears flow. Let the tears flow. But I'd like to know what you think about it. Do you think that when a police officer, should police officers go to jail for deadly mistakes? They make a mistake. They're trying to uphold the law. They're trying to protect us. They make a mistake. Damn it, it was an honest mistake. Anybody can make that mistake. I thought it was a taser. Think about that for a second. Ponder that. At some point, I want to talk about Dr. Oz, who's running for Congress, sounding like a Trump pansy. Yeah, remember Dr. Oz? We all thought he was a good guy. Maybe he still is. He's running for Congress. We'll talk about it. Barbados has ended their allegiance to the British crown, now becoming a republic, symbolizing the end of colonization. After nearly 400 years under the British monarchy, Barbados removed Queen Elizabeth II as the head of the state of the island nation. I'm thinking to myself, I thought y'all been done did that. You telling me what? We into a whole new millennium, y'all still under the British monarchy? Y'all should have been did that and replaced her with Rihanna, a real queen of Barbados. Children danced and played steel pan. Local artists performed native songs and poets recited stanzas about this country's transatlantic slave past. Barbados became a British colony, get this family, in May of 1625. 1625. You know, they sick of the British. We are looking at history in our lifetime. For nearly 400 years under British monarchy, Barbados said, no more. No more. Wow, that is deep right there. But let's let that soak in. Since 1625. And they said no more. I'm sure Bad Girl Riri has something to do with this. I'm sure she did. In some way. Daryl writes, she's gonna walk. Daryl, you might be. Might be right. Daryl writes, a Cosby sweater. Man, don't say I don't got no damn Cosby sweater on, man. Don't associate nothing with me with no damn Cosby. I ain't with it. I do not have a Cosby sweater on. Cosby sweater. You know we don't roll with no Pill Cosby over here. You already know. And that's right. Pill Cosby. That's right. I said it. I meant it. Cosby sweater. It is a Cosby sweater, though. Michael writes, good morning, Choppers. Have a fantabulous day. Daryl writes, Dr. Oz is a quack. Queen writes, was it a mistake? She claims it was a mistake, but was it really just, I want to shoot this guy and get away with it? Let me go ahead and say what a lot of cynical people might be thinking. She wanted to kill that boy. So she played games. I know the body cam is rolling. Let me put on the show. Oh, Lordy, I's going to jail. It was a freaking mistake, right? She knew what she was doing. She's trying to play up for the recording. As you look at her right there, do you really think that someone would do that? Is that plausible? Do you really think that someone would do that? A police officer would do that? That this police? I mean, she on the office. She on the force 20 plus years. I mean, she looking at retirement, the R word. Does she really want to complicate her life? And she's so close to retirement by going through all of this just to kill an unarmed black man. That's a stretch right there. Let's assume that it was a mistake. Humans are infallible. We all make mistakes every day, every way. So let's assume it's a mistake. My question to you is, should police officers go to jail for deadly mistakes? Oops, my bad. She made an honest mistake. She didn't mean to kill that young man. She did not mean to kill that young man. She feels terrible. She's having nightmares. Her life is never going to be the same. My question to you is, should she go to jail? Now, you may not have all the ins and outs, and maybe you don't have enough available information to make a strong opinion, right? Maybe so, I get it, but I want to put something in your ear as the trial and the jury selection kicks off this week, and I'm sure that we'll be talking about this as we move forward. Before we go too forward, I want to remind you that our friends over at the Ohio Kings have their first game coming up this Saturday. That's right, December the 4th at 6 p.m. at Cincinnati State Technical and Community College. That's at 3520 Central Parkway here in beautiful Cincinnati. Admission is $10. $10, that's it for general admission. That gets you in the door. And once you get in the door, you can sit anywhere you want to, except for those VIP courtside seats. Can't sit there. If you're interested in the VIP courtside seats, doesn't that sound nice? $20. You also get free concessions. You might be thinking, what about the children, Nate? I've got kids. Well, I've got children too. Kids 12 and under will get in free when accompanied by an adult, and free haircuts for kids as well. Now, if you're interested, you can purchase your tickets at ohio-kings.ticketbud.com. Again, ohio-kings.ticketbud.com. And you can check out the Ohio Kings. They are locally black owned, by the way, if that matters to you. So you can recycle your dollars. And you'll hear more about it throughout the rest of the show. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning. One last thing. Nah, not that one. This one right here. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. You don't just get happy. You don't just get happy. That's not how that works. You make happy. Happy is a decision. It's a mindset. I wake up happy every freaking day. You know, I don't care what the weather is. I don't care what's going on. It is beautiful to be alive. I love it. Look at that little island, that little heart right there. That looks so peaceful. And that little boat right there, that's you and me. That's us. Chart your course to your own little oasis, your own little private island called happiness. And don't let the mofos in your life or on your job bring you down too much. Block them out. Block them out. Live your best life. Say it with me. Block them out and live your best life, man. Yeah, I want all my people to be happy. I want you a strong body, strong mind, living your best life. And when you get there, let us know here on the show so we can experience it along with you. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Somebody do the world a favor. Somebody do the world a favor and and in particular share today's show. You ain't doing me a favor. You're doing the world a favor. The more people that plug into this show, the better this world's going to be. God damn it. Morning to you. Oh, Lord, forgive me for my pressure. Sorry about that. I'm trying to be a better man. It's a journey. It's a journey. What's up with the chop shop? What up?
Get to the chopper!
Miss D writes greetings. Ray writes good risings all. Her ass needs to go to prison, she writes. It's just that simple. Fox writes, rise and shine, young stars. Good morning to everybody. We're leveling up this morning. Great to be with you as always. So let me start right here. I got a lot of stuff to talk about, man, and not a lot of time. Should police officers go to jail for deadly mistakes? So let me run it down for the people who don't know what happened. Okay, I want to give you as much information as possible so we can have a conversation this morning, and then perhaps we'll move on and bring some other things to the table. Okay. Now, according to the complaint, the officer, so Kim Porter was actually in the process of training an officer. The officer she was training, his name is Anthony Lackey. Apparently, they stopped this brother, Mr. Wright. He was stopped. Dante Wright was stopped. Daunte Wright, Wright. He was stopped in April of last year. And apparently, get this, he was stopped, y'all. Y'all gonna love this. You're gonna love this. He was stopped apparently because he had an air freshener. I guess he had an air freshener in his car. One of those illegal varieties, right? Oh, my God. An air freshener, y'all. We got to change the laws, man. We got to change them laws. But he had an air freshener hanging from his rear view mirror. And the car also had expired license plates tabs. So there it is. I mean, I don't think if you got expired license plates, we already know what that means. They also found an arrest warrant for a weapons violation. So after stopping him, they went back to arresting. They ordered Mr. Wright to get out of the car. He obeyed it. But as they were handcuffing him, Dante Wright pulled away and got back in. As he pulled away and got back into the car, Kim Porter said, quote, "I'll tase you." The video shows Porter holding her handgun in her right hand and then pointing it at him and saying, "I'll tase you." 2 seconds later, taser, taser, taser. 1 second later, she fired a single bullet into his chest. In the video, she can be seen in her saying, "F, I just shot him. I grabbed the wrong freaking gun." A minute later on the video, she is seen to be said, "I'm going to go to prison." Prosecutors are alleging that Kim Porter committed first-degree manslaughter by causing Dante Wright's death while committing a misdemeanor crime, namely recklessly handling her gun. The second-degree manslaughter count alleges that she acted with culpable negligence. Neither charge requires the intent to kill. So that's what happened. Some are arguing that Dante Wright caused his own death by not fully answering and following the directives of the police, because he got out the car when this is how the story goes. He got out the car when they told him to, and then when they tried to handcuff him, he got back in the vehicle and was just resisting arrest. What if Dante Wright, instead of resisting arrest, would have just allowed himself to be arrested? Would he have been shot and killed? Mistakenly or otherwise? Like, some could argue that if he had just followed the directions of the officer, then the officer never would have had a reason to pull a taser or a gun, and there wouldn't have been a mistake to be had. So some are saying that he caused his own death. But what are you saying this morning? What do you think about a situation like that? What do you think about this? That's a hell of a situation like that. It really is. We gotta break this down because only we can do this justice. Like, police pulls a man over, he's got warrants. They pull you over, you got this illegal air freshener. You know that air freshener's too damn big. Plus, you got expired tags. They ask you to get out the car. He gets out the car. They go to handcuff you. He starts resisting arrest and trying to get back in the car. That leads the police officers to escalate their tactics that they're going to use to bring him, to apprehend him, right? Meaning taser. So one thing could never, if the first thing never happened, then the next thing never gets to it. Like, some may argue that if Dante Wright never resisted arrest, then Kimberly Porter never would have found it necessary to escalate her tactics in order to bring him under arrest. That does make sense to me. But what about you? But then when she escalates her tactics to bring him under arrest, she mistakenly pulls a firearm instead of a taser. Who is to blame? This is complicated. This is hard. Or is it? You tell me. 513-873-7134. This ain't no black and white right here. I gotta be honest with you. The more I think about it, this ain't black and white. This is not black and white. This is a little bit more complicated, I think. Or is it, in your opinion? 513-873-7134. Do you follow this logic, and do you agree with this logic? Now, you may not know everything that happened in the case. You might be hearing about it first time. I've given you the facts as I have read them from multiple sources this morning, okay? Because I want to give you enough facts so you can formulate an opinion. Do you think in that scenario, they had a reason to pull him over? You got expired tags. They had a reason to arrest him. You got an arrest. You got a warrant for a weapons charge. Checkbox, checkbox. They ask you to step out the car. He steps out the car. They go to arrest you or to put handcuffs on you. You get the wiggling around and getting back in the car. Now you're resisting arrest. Now police have to escalate their tactics to use to try to put you under arrest. One of those is the taser. But this Gilligan ass mofo, is ass a curse word? I don't think so, because we all got one, right? Yeah, it's not a curse word. It's anatomical. Yeah. So I've convinced myself just that quickly. So the officer goes to apprehend this man and mistakenly discharges her firearm. Is that negligent? I would still say that I would say you can't have it both ways, right? Police will be when people start criticizing police for what they do and how they do it. What's one of the first things they say? What's one of the first things that they say in response? And drop coming right to you, brother. One of the first things you hear them say is, "We're the experts. You's not an expert. We's is the experts. We know, you don't know, right? Okay, well, if you're gonna be the expert, then we're gonna hold you accountable for being an expert." And in my mind, and I don't have any legal anything to stand on, but in my mind, even if you're dealing with somebody that's resisting arrest, they still have rights. They still got rights, even when you under arrest or even when they think that you committed a crime. This is just suspicion of a crime. You're not Judge Dredd. You're not judge, jury, and executioner on the side of the road. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to put somebody under arrest, there's a procedure for that. If you're going to use non-lethal measures, then you should use non-lethal measures. And when you make a mistake, you should be held accountable. That's how I feel about it as I sit here right now. But what do you think at 513-873-7134? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
I agree with you 100%. She's going to go to jail. She'll probably get 10 years like the lady who shot the man in his apartment in, I think that was Houston or Dallas, Texas,
right?
About a couple of years back.
Yeah.
It was basically the same charge. The prosecutor couldn't prove that she intended to murder the guy. And I think it's going to,
But in that case, I think she did intend to kill, right?
No, Mr. Ivey, again, I'm just telling you about the information that you just put out about the case, okay?
Oh, okay, about this case, right, okay.
Okay, I'm saying, to me, it appears that it's similar to the Dallas case. And what I'm saying is, I was a military policeman in the United States Marine Corps from 1980 to 1984, stationed at Marine Corps Recruit Depot in San Diego. And I've been through the training process. I actually helped train someone myself. And it sounds to me that this officer, with the years of experience that she had, and to make a mistake like that in the role as a training officer, tells me she did not spend a lot of time on the street. And she didn't go through, again, the required training for the taser, to stay update on new regulations and whatever. So you get familiar with your taser because it's supposed to be on the opposite side of your weapon, on the weak side. So your instinct won't take your hand to the side where your gun is, and then the taser's right next to it. So she clearly screwed up. You heard the audio afterwards. She knows she's going to jail. The question is, how many years is the jury going to give her? And it's just unfortunate, Mr. Ivey, that this shit that it happened. The man lost his life. His kids lost their father. It was sad and unfortunate. But the justice system is working. The protest and all that stuff is working because there's more eyeballs on these cases. There's more scrutiny in the DA's office. It's more scrutiny on these defense attorneys. Things are getting better, but you're going to always have cases like this. And in this case, this is not a racial incident. So I agree with you 100%, Mr. Ivey. And if I may, real quick, for Brian yesterday, trying to imply that I don't know basketball. I refereed high school basketball for 15 years at a high level out here in Southern California. Players like Klay Thompson, James Harden. I mean, I could go down the list of the players that I saw and refereed out here in Southern California. And again, to correct Brian, they were lined up for free throws. This was not doing a live ball. When you line up for free throws, the team that is not shooting has the advantages on the lane. So in this case, there were two Lakers, DeAndre Jordan, then you had the Pistons, and then you had LeBron. So LeBron, the way the free throw is set up is to give the team who's not shooting the advantage. So the Piston player was at the disadvantage, so he's going to do more of the holding and trying to jockey for position. LeBron didn't like it. He locked him up and he snatched away. And when you're a referee, and on that setup, there was a referee right on the side of the lane on the end line. He blew the whistle. He saw what LeBron did, and automatically you know it's intentional because when you jerk away from an elbow lock, you could either jerk down or you could jerk up. Because you know if you jerk up, his face just might be in the line of fire. Oh, my bad. So I just wanted to tell Brian, I know what the hell I'm talking about. I know what I saw. LeBron intentionally elbowed that man. So that's all I got, Mr. Ivey. I appreciate you taking my call, and you keep doing your thing. Drop Squad 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to fact check a 15-year referee. I'm out.
All right, appreciate the call. Somebody got in their feelings a little bit. Don't be fact checking me. What you mean? Appreciate you. No, I totally forgot about this. I don't always think about this kind of stuff, but I know that yesterday was Giving Tuesday, and I didn't really put anything out there. You know, my mission is pretty simple: amplify Black and brown voices, and we're just getting started. And if that's something that you would like to get behind with your dollars, with your giving dollars, I am 100% for that. So I'll just put my contact information up on the screen. I'm on PayPal and also the Cash App at Nathan Ivey Show, or perhaps you want to become a patron. And if you go to nathanivey.com, there's links on the right-hand side on my website to all of the necessary links. You can become a patron if you want to make a one-time donation, but I'm 100% about that. I mean, in a very, very serious manner, you know, working with a lot of very good creative people. You might even say artists. You know, what this is a form of creativity, most definitely, that can inform and also entertain, you know, audiences as well. And we are 100% about that work. So if you're interested, I know it's the day after Giving Tuesday, but people are going to be doing those kind of things all week long. I'll leave it up a little bit and, you know, do whatever you feel you want to do. I appreciate you in advance. And to all the folks that have given support over the years, I appreciate you. And to my patrons who I shouted out by name yesterday, and I'll do it again this month as well. Appreciate you. So back up here, you said talking about LeBron. Yeah, LeBron knew what he was doing. I mean, I play basketball recreationally. You're going to get elbowed. You're going to catch bows. You're going to get pushed. You're going to get hit. You're going to all that stuff. Did I ever get elbowed in the face? I want to say maybe. You know, when another man, any part of another man's body touches your face, you're going to get in your feelings about that. You're going to have a temper. It's going to be an issue for you. So I get it. I get it 100%. I never got slapped like that. I can't remember if I saw other people like it. It's been so long at this point, but that's about the game of basketball. LeBron knew what he was doing. It wasn't his elbow, it was his hand. He hit him with the back of his knuckle and caught him. And it is what it is, man. That's the game. That is the game. You don't want to get hit and elbow, don't play basketball. Simple as that. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Where we at? Crystal, Brandy writes greetings. Good to see you, Brandy. Crystal writes good morning. Pat writes good morning, Nate and Choppers. Anthony writes morning, Sharps. Jerome's in the house. He writes good morning, Nate and Choppers. Regina writes good morning. Good morning, everybody. Yo writes good morning, everyone. Daryl is in the house. He writes good morning, Nate and the Hella Choppers. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning. Appreciate everybody. Let's go back to the phones, shall we? Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, guys. How are things?
I'm doing great. Welcome.
It's wonderful. Yeah, yesterday you had some people here being very disrespectful, talking greasy in the comments. You know, guy called in, tell us some, yeah, I'm gonna not even address certain people, you know, trying to, you know, as you said, take the high road. No, it's too late to take the high road, my nigga. It's too late. You started this shit years ago, and now we're going, like DMX said, we're gonna get to the bottom of it if it takes all night. You know, you're a Black Lives Matter professional protester. You're responsible for those people that Kyle Rittenhouse killed because of your tactics. Now you want to say, oh, I ain't down with Black Lives Matter. I ain't with them anymore. I don't like what they do. You laid in bed with them. You can't complain that you got fleas now. Because Black Lives Matter is over in their bedroom smoking a joint saying, still beat though. Watch who you insulting. You up there insulting my man Drop. I'm glad Drop just put you in your place. Talk about some, yeah, you ain't never played no ball. Drop. No, boy, shut up. This is Cincinnati, Ohio. This is not a basketball town. Can't nobody around here hoop like that. Got a handful of NBA players. The best high school player in Cincinnati, Ohio, would barely make the 8-man rotation of a high school in New York City, Baltimore. You know, an East Coast hub where they get busy on the hoop court. Please stop calling out that man. Y'all need to stop calling that man out. He deserves your respect. Talking about some, you ain't never played. I don't think you ever played ball. I think you soft, truth be told. And when I say soft, I mean sweet. You understand? Watch who you insulting, B. But now, as far as this lady cop, she needs to get a nice little chunk of time in jail. Because from what I understand, cops are told gun goes on the dominant side, taser on the non-dominant side. 70% of the world is right-handed. So you knew what you were reaching for. I think, I mean, this is one of the one times in a blue moon that I agree with you, Nathan, that she was setting up the video, much like the Ahmaud Arbery killer. You know, trying to dictate the narrative of the video. Oh, I'll tase you, setting, doing all her protocols before she lets it go. Oops, my bad. You bleeding. You ain't supposed to bleed from a taser. Much like the McMichael, the dad will say, Travis, what are you doing? Travis, stop. Oh my God, Travis, no. On the 911 call. That type of shit. Like trying to set it up. Like, she's foul. I hope she goes to jail for a long time. 10, this was blatant and brazen, as a matter of fact. And it comes on the heels of, like you said, the George Floyd issues that was going on there in that same state. Lady, how could you be so tone deaf over some air freshener and a busted taillight? Now, granted, I'll be the first person to say, when the cops come, chill the fuck out, quit trying to run, quit trying to fight with them, quit trying to argue, take the arrest, and handle it the next day when you get processed or whatever. I'll be the first to say that. And that rings true here. But that doesn't mean the young brother needed to die. And yes, if he would have just complied, he'd probably still be alive. But the point is, okay, he didn't. And what he did do does not require him to be shot. Especially not point blank in the chest. So I hope that lady, what's her name, Kim Wilson? Kim Porter. I hope she gets, a good double-digit years amount in jail. Porter, whatever. I just hope she goes to jail. I hope she gets, and I saw earlier, Brother Turner, Nat Turner said something about qualified immunity. I don't think they're going to be able to fall back on this one on that, but they might. And that's the problem. That's what Black Lives Matter and Black Ass Brian have never addressed. Qualified immunity. They just say, keep fucking up buildings, keep running up on people, be violent, be ready to fight. But they've never said, let's go after the law. Qualified immunity. None of these professional protesters, a.k.a. professional Negroes. Professional Negroes.
I don't think that's true, but...
if they did, they just did it in the last year or two. Qualified immunity been out forever. Cops have been beating charges on that forever. We're using that doctrine.
I'm not even sure if they did away with qualified immunity if that would deal with the issue, to be honest with you.
Say what?
I said, I'm not even sure at this point that if, let's say, we did away with qualified immunity for police officers, wouldn't they just go get some type of insurance? Wouldn't we be in the same kind of situation?
Well, if you make them carry their own insurance, they're going to be less likely to blast. You know, just insurance, you know, liability, cop insurance will go up just like your car insurance when you're getting tickets all the time and getting in at-fault accidents. You know, your insurance goes up even when you're in a non-at-fault accident. And that's how cop liability could work.
Sounds pretty simple.
But instead, y'all keep say what?
I said, sounds pretty simple.
It's too simple.
I'm not so sure it's that simple though, but I hear you though, bro.
Okay, but it's better than running up on people and destroying CVS's, setting buildings on fire. That corny ass stuff.
Is it?
You know what certain people ask you to do. Yeah, it's much better than that. Let's go after the law. This is corny at this point.
Okay.
All the best legal minds in the country, put your heads together and find a way to go after the law. What the hell CVS got to do with it? Church's Chicken. You know, you're burning down buildings, talking about getting aggressive with people. That's why those people are dead in Wisconsin. But Brian don't want to admit that. They're dead because of the rhetoric he spews. You ain't getting away with that, bro.
That's a stretch.
I'm going to ride your punk ass. Till you apologize to these people. You got some people killed.
That's going to be a long time, bro.
And then you try to act like you never said no shit about black people being pit bulls. You lying monkey.
I just love all this love you got for your brother, man. Anything else?
I fuck him. Everybody else, I can coexist with.
I appreciate your call. Thank you for the call. We gotta let him go. He getting out of hand. Appreciate you. He wild, man. He wild. Thank you for the call, man. We after 8:30, but still, I don't want all that negative energy. We got it. Thank you. Oh, I got the owl in for you, the howl for you. So Brian Taylor is responsible for the murders, not even murders, but for the homicides committed by Kyle Rittenhouse. That's a stretch, bro, to say the least. The rest of it, I can deal with. That part, no. No, brother. No, brother, man. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan.
Hey, what's up, Mace?
What's wrong with LeBron James? I have an answer. Yes, that's enough to play ball and use his money to make it work for him. That's what's wrong with LeBron James. But what's wrong with the one that was refereeing the game? I mean, anybody can do that. It's very simple. But see, every referee don't catch everything. And sometimes if you play basketball and you call games and you did both, you understand. Because if you're calling the game, the ref can't see, and somebody is all, like fouling, and the referee can't catch it, your elbow do the work for you, and it'll stay off you.
Right.
And the ref didn't see it. That's why they have recalls. When ref miss stuff, they got to have a recall so you can see it. I don't even care if you've been calling 1 year, 15 years, or 30 years, at the top level or the bottom. So if you didn't play basketball, you don't understand the game. But if you play, you understand the game, and you ref too, you understand both sides. So that's what LeBron James did. It's called stay off me. Nobody's calling it. So you get on me again, you're going to catch the elbow. And then you will stay away from me.
Right.
That's what we.
Right.
So that's to the people that's been doing this for drop. Have a good.
Appreciate the call. We very interesting. She said drop. Raindrops. Charles writes, Grand Rising's named the choppers. Of course, officers should go to jail for making a deadly mistake. The general public will go to jail for an accidental death. What makes the police any different? Because they're police. They're given these powers and these authorities and this authority or these responsibilities that we don't have. They got a mandate. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, we give them latitude when they make certain mistakes. Happens all the time. Maxine writes, great grand rising to all of the righteous seekers. Good morning to you. Tiffany writes, good morning. Good morning. Anthony writes, like and share, fam. Dale writes, nah, we didn't forget because this led to the Rittenhouse incident. It sure did. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Dale writes, qualified immunity. Gladys writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Have a good Wednesday, absolutely. Daryl writes, I don't think it was a mistake given the temperature of this country at the time. Cops do take revenge out, folks. So you don't think it was a mistake. So let's walk through this. You really think that this 24, 5, 6-year-old, veteran on the police force, which means that she's near retirement, right? Let's say retirement's 30 years. She's 4 years away from retirement if she didn't already qualify. You think she really wanted to gamble with her life and her future by playing these games, by killing him mistakenly on accident, on purpose? I just, that would take, I'm not saying that those kind of people don't exist. Because, we got some evil ass humans out there, right? Humans worse than COVID. And she might just be one of them. In fact, she is a human that's worse than COVID. Kimberly Potter, right there. Former police officer. And she killed that brother, Dante Wright. But what I would say to all my brothers out there is, I would never ask a black man to be a punk. I could never do that. I could never ask you to put down your manhood. I would never do that. Okay. You a man everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, everything you do, everywhere, you a man. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes you unique. You don't have to bow down to anybody. You don't have to lay down for anybody, including the police. But what I would humbly suggest is that if you get into an altercation with police, that you think it all the way through, especially, look at this little boy right here. Don't he have the cutest face in the world? Look at that little boy. Is that his one birthday? Oh my God. I remember my son used to play with his toes like that. You forget when your kids get older just how cute the hell they were when they was 1 and 2. Look at him. He is super cute. All you want, listen, you get around a little baby like that, man, all you want to do is play with them and make them laugh, and that's it, right? Feed them. I bet he is the cutest thing in the world. He look like his daddy. Look like his daddy right there. So if you a father, man, I would just say to really think it all the way through if you decide you want to start resisting arrest. That's all I would say. But even though you're resisting arrest, it doesn't mean that the consequence should be death. It don't mean that. But again, some are arguing that he caused his own death because he was resisting. And if he had never resisted, he'd be here right now. Now, maybe the second part of that is a stretch. We don't know whether he'd be here or not, or we don't know. But at the very least, maybe we can speculate and say that he wouldn't have got killed in the manner that he did. I think it comes down to the jury, man. These juries can say and do whatever they want to do. The jury might be police sympathetic. And she might get up there and start weeping on the witness stand. She's weeping on the witness stand. And white tears goes a long way with some folks. I didn't mean to. I'm having nightmares every day. I'm taking all these pills because I'm feeling depressed. I feel so terrible. I've already been dealing with a sentence that's worse than anything that jail time could ever give me. So just let me go home. Time served, right? Some people fall for that, man. They're very sympathetic. In these days and times, she needs to take her ass to jail. That's what I would say. Cass is in the house. She writes, "Good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you." Good morning. Dr. Oz is a quack. Dr. Oz is running for Congress with his crazy self. And he's running for Congress in Pennsylvania. It's critical. He's a resident of New Jersey, but he's running as a Republican in a bid to represent Pennsylvania. Quote, "We are angry at our government and at each other. We have not managed our crisis as effectively as past generations. During the pandemic, I learned that when you mix politics and medicine, you get politics instead of solutions. That's why I am running for the U.S. Senate to help fix the problems and to help us heal." That's Dr. Oz. Anybody know who Dr. Oz is? Let me put an image up for you. You might be like, who that, Nate? Who we speaking of? Who you talking about? And didn't he get accused of peddling some kind of bogus drugs? Then he had to go before Congress and the whole 9 yards. He did. And I'm not sure what happened with that, but it didn't look good. What is your opinion of Dr. Oz, real quick? Dr. Oz, just real quick. We ain't got to get all deep into it. Everybody's got an opinion about everything these days. I want to get your opinion about that. Man's running for Congress. He could tip the balance. That's Dr. Oz right there. He's looking like, well, you just shut the fuck up. I'm smarter than you. Shut up. That's what he's looking like. And Dr. Oz has said some things that are a little bit, I don't know. He testified at a Senate hearing on deceptive advertising for diet supplements. He promoted that hydroxychloroquine as a COVID treatment. Dr. Oz, he could be your next Republican senator. And he's going to sell you the miracle diet. The miracle diet. Any doctor selling you a miracle diet is a quack. There are no miracle diets. The miracle diet is called fasting, which is don't eat. Just what we need, another celebrity in politics. Just what we need. And after being grilled in Congress, he admitted that his weight loss products don't pass the quote unquote scientific muster. So basically, he was peddling BS, trash pills, miracle elixirs. And he knew it was BS. Now he wants to run for Congress. Some might say that's a great fit for him with all the other con artists, man. Do you remember a movie called The Distinguished Gentleman? It was starred Eddie Murphy. It's probably one of his lesser movies, right? Nobody thinks, when you think of Eddie Murphy movies, you don't think of like The Distinguished Gentleman. You don't ever think of that. Let me see if I can find it right. But basically, he was a con artist and he saw an opportunity to run for the U.S. Senate, and it worked. And so he went to the U.S. Senate as a con artist, right? He's just conning and grinning and shucking and jiving and trying to figure out how he was going to make some money. And then what he found out is that there were bigger con artists and bigger crooks than him in the U.S. Senate. And so here it is right here. There, you see that? Yeah, look at that. So that's the Capitol building, and then he just took the top off, and he's just nothing but money. Look at his grin. And that's Dr. Oz in real life. that's Dr. Oz, you quack. Why would anybody vote for this man? But we'll find out. You should check out The Distinguished Gentleman. It's got commentary in it. This whole commentary about corruption in politics and money in politics, and he was a con artist, and it turns out that he was a con artist with a heart of gold. He really had a conscience. And so he got up to the U.S. Senate and realized, hey, compared to these other crooks, man, I'm nothing. And then it turned his life around. He became a good guy, and he became a servant leader. Instead of being a leader that was only serving himself, he became a servant leader by the end of the movie. It's worth your time. You should check it out. Eddie Murphy. I don't know whether Dr. Oz is a quack or not, but just don't buy any pills from him. That's all I can say. TNT writes, good morning. Jane writes, good morning. Did y'all see Representative Omar's press conference yesterday? Nate, if you have a chance, play that video. Okay. Hold on. See if I can find that video. If you got a link to it, send it to me. I'll see if I can find it. I think, is that the one where somebody sent her a threatening video or a message or something like that. Is that what it was? Let me see. I got her remarks on C-SPAN. Let me see if this is it, Daryl. You know, this show is super flexible. You can help program the show every single day. Just hit me to the game. What's popping? Let me see if I can find this.
Number 11. A Muslim EMT with the New York Fire Department named Mohammed Salman Hamdani was reported missing. His mother, Talath, desperate to find her son, appealed directly to the President of the United States.
Okay, this might not be the one because Daryl was sending me.
Receiving assistance,
yeah, this is it. This is
or
it.
sympathy, she received suspicion. Federal law enforcement came to his home and confiscated photos. Local law enforcement put up wanted flyers for him. Their member of Congress interrogated them, saying Salman could be detained if found. The media swarmed their home with one tabloid headline reading, "Missing or hiding."
Oh, sorry about that. How long I've been muted for? Too long? Sorry about that. It happens. Anyway, I had to take that Bill Cosby sweater off. You missed it. Omar writes, free haircuts at a basketball game? Question mark. Hell, throw in a lap dance and I'm there. No lap dances for you, bro. The closest you're going to get to a lap dance is you can get that VIP package, and then maybe the players, when chasing a ball out of bounds, will fall into your lap. That's as much you're going to get. Lap dance. What's wrong with you, man? Block them out. That's right, Brenda. Block them out. Block them out. Nakia writes, good morning. Lisa writes, you can tell the Nathan Ivey Show is a staple in your house when the kids ask, what is he talking about today? That's great. That's great. Good morning, children. This is exactly where you should be, getting that good gospel every morning. See, that's why I'm trying to control my mouth, because the babies is watching. I got to represent for the babies. Yes, it reads, I make effed up look good, because I'm effed up. I admit it, just like everybody else. Ronald Lackey's in the house. Good morning, Ronald Lackey. Black Ice. Yeah, air freshener. Was it like a heroin air freshener? I don't even know what that is. A heroin air freshener? They can make something like that? Good morning. These stories of police mistakes are getting more outlandish daily. Kelly Prather writes, good morning, all. Good morning. Just good to see you. Monica is in the house. She writes, good morning. I think I read it already. Jenny writes, good morning, Nathan the Choppers. Happy hump day. Happy hump day to you. Good morning to you. DeAndre writes, what if the police would have pulled out the taser instead of the gun? If she would have pulled out the taser, nobody would have said anything. He would have been tased. He would have been subdued. He would have been handcuffed. Life goes on. Nothing would have happened. Unless he died in custody, and then it would have been a big thing about whether tasers are lethal measures. And Drop writes, lock her up 10 years. You know, Fame has been caping so much for Drop that he needs to go ahead and let Drop be that third member of the alt middle. You know, the alt middle broke up, and he don't like it when we talk about it, but I don't give a damn what he likes. So what? You know what I'm saying? They broke up over either a woman or some money, and I suspect at this point it's a woman. Just from the way he acts when I bring it up, he gets all irritated. And him and Black Russia are on outs. The election is over with. So what's there to still argue about? See, that's how I know it wasn't over politics, because the election is over. Abtara Pureval spanked that ass. She come over here, David, man. You ain't gonna win a damn thing, David, man. Who won a very surprisingly weak campaign, in my opinion. It's like his heart wasn't really all the way in it, maybe. I don't know. But that's over with, fellas. Y'all should be reuniting, but they're not, because it never had anything to do with politics. It was either over money or a woman. And I know it wasn't over money, because when somebody owe you money, one of them would have just said it, like, man, he owed me $50. Nobody said that. We put it all together. Brian writes, the resist of arrest was not the beginning of the story. If they weren't racially profiling for air fresheners, nothing would have ever happened. Well, to be fair, from what I read, he also had expired tags. You know how that is. Wait a minute, you got expired tags? Oh, we got him. Pull him over. Hit the lights, hit the lights, hit the lights, hit the lights. Okay, we got him now. We're going to get some guns off the streets. We're making a dent in crime. TNT writes, people flee every day, and it's not a death sentence, right? DeAndre writes, Dante mistakenly got back into the car. So who is allowed to make a mistake? You already know. They are. You already know the answer to that. Nah, leave Drip on hold till the end of the show. TNT writes, the police officer is trained. From my understanding, police keep their gun on one side and a taser on the other. Muscle memory probably caused her to grab her gun, and she probably used more than a taser. No excuses. Brenda writes, did the officers fear for their lives? Was it necessary to use a weapon at that time? He was resisting arrest. The courts have allowed the police to use tasers to put people under arrest. So, yeah, in that scenario, if they're pulling the taser, yeah, they do have the right to do so. They're allowed to do all of that. Yes, yes, and yes. Monica writes, from my understanding, police keep the taser on one hip and their fire weapon on the other. After 20 years in training others, how did she get confused exactly? Was she on dope? Was she taking some pills that day? Was she high on her own supply? Did they do a drug test on the scene? I don't know the answer to these questions. For me, situation like that, any officer involved shooting of any kind, as soon as the boys show up to investigate, we're doing a drug test right here, right there. How often are police officers routinely drug tested in the Cincinnati Police Department? I don't know. I do not know. Your rights. I feel that the cop definitely needs to do jail time for this mistake that she made, but I'm not going to make no excuse for dude either. Don't put yourself in that type of situation, especially if you have prior firearms convictions. Understood. Callie writes, this is the sort of mistake that a police officer cannot make under any circumstances. The taser should have been on a specific side as to not confuse with her handgun, and she should have recognized the weight and feel of her gun as different from her taser. I agree. But this is the same guy who blamed Michael Burr for shooting Ashley Babbitt. Brenda writes, was Dante a real threat fleeing? Deborah writes, same thing with the officer who killed Oscar Grant. He claimed he confused taser with gun. He only got 2 years, I think. That's exactly right. Oscar Grant was face down, hands behind his back, and got shot in the back, point blank range, and died right there. Fruitville Station. Hey, auntie. Yeah. Nat Rice Coon chip activated. It only takes a little bit of white supremacy to activate the cool chip, right? Anthony Rice, it is recommended to be opposite. Most departments do go with that recommendation. Some still leave it to the officers to decide. Brandy Rice, good morning. Brenda Rice, negligence on the part of the officer. Yeah, I'm not saying the officer goes away for the rest of her life, but she got to do some time. She must do some time to keep everything honest. Kush Rice, good morning, Nate and the Mighty Choppers. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning. Brian Rice, I said they lined up for free throws. I also said tangibles happen even on rebounds. Cleopatra Joan writes, Grand Risings, Nathan Ivey and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Now, if you're just tapping in, what are we talking about? We're talking about this situation right here. You know what I'm saying? With Dante Wright. He was killed last year by Kimberly, Potter. Kimberly Potter. And Kimberly Potter was like a 20-plus year veteran on the force. She was actually, during this scenario, she was actually training somebody. She was actually training someone. And during the incident, in her effort to try to apprehend and subdue Dante Wright, you see the brother right there with his 1-year-old child. That photograph is circulating around the internet. It's so sad. It's so sad. Look at them. So sad. Look at that little boy growing up without his dad now. You know, he's probably wondering, where's my dad at? I haven't seen my dad. He's probably feeling that. Where's my dad at? I haven't seen my dad in a while. Your dad is dead. Because this Gilligan over here pulled the wrong weapon. Talking some, oops, my bad. That's what we're discussing right now. Should police officers go to jail for deadly mistakes? Even when let's assume it was a mistake. Let's not assume anything cynical or criminal or nefarious or anything like that. Let's say it was a mistake. Should she still go to jail? Let's say she's remorseful. Let's say she can't sleep. She turned her life over to Christ and all that. Okay, she is honestly remorseful. Should she go to jail? That's my question for you. Should she go to jail? 513-873-7134. COVID Rice Braun has COVID now. Or Nat Rice Braun has COVID now. Yeah, that COVID issue ain't no joke, man. That COVID issue is no joke. People keep playing with it until it hits you. I hope it don't. Lemmy Rice, good morning. Kelly Rice, good morning. Dale Rice, please shut this clown down. Mike Rice, wow. Good morning to you. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. This morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
How you doing, Nathan?
It's been a minute. White Wolf.
It has been. Yeah.
What's up with you, John?
Not a whole lot, man. I've been retired for about a year and a half.
Damn, I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah. Back right after COVID started, not maybe 4 or 5 months. It was about May, I think.
Wow. So what you been doing then?
Sorry about a little bit of everything. Traveling, doing the stuff that my pitching has allowed me to do, gratefully.
Okay.
So working on the house, working with the family, things like that.
Okay. I'm glad to hear it, man. I hope you have a restful and peaceful retirement, man.
I hope so too. I appreciate that. But anyway, I want to throw a little bit of a boomerang into your conversation about this officer.
Okay.
Maybe not specifically about some of the things we talk about, but maybe get some feedback from you and your listeners. What was the size and strength disparity between the suspect and the woman who shot him? We know?
I don't know.
Is there anything?
I don't. Now, we do know this, John, that there were 2 officers, right? So it was 2-on-1 type of situation.
Gotcha. I just, when I first started, I didn't get access to be able to use a taser until probably 15 years into my career, we had pepper spray, but I hated using it because it made too big of a mess, during and after effect, because it caused so many negative complications with people's sinuses and things like that. It was just awful. So, most often you see, or I saw in my career, guys go hands-on. And that, I'm not saying hands-on is a non-lethal. There's nothing that's non-lethal. There's less lethal. There's less lethal forms of force. A taser is a less lethal form of force. Can someone die from a taser shot? Yes, they can. It's been done in the past. Does it happen often? No, it doesn't. So I think, remember in the case of Nathaniel Jones at the White Castle back in like 2003, where the officers went hands-on with him, and he was such a large guy that, he had a cardiac event and wound up dying. That wasn't a non-lethal event. That was less lethal. So in this particular event, is what kind of training did she receive that caused her to want to use that taser rather than to go hands-on and force him out of the car? And I'm going to throw this out there, and I'm not saying this to because I believe it. Not necessarily there's a belief involved, but more often than not, females do not have the upper body strength that males have. And that goes for anyone in any profession. That's just biology, that's nature. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I could say in my experiences in the past, I've worked with a lot of police officers, and some of the most critical thinking police officers are the best problem solvers I worked with were female police officers. Does that mean I have something against male officers when it comes to problem solving? No, that's just my experience. So, what was it about her that caused her to go for a taser? And then sometime during that struggle, she felt at least some type of stress to confuse her gun for her taser. And that's something that we started doing when I was on the force towards the end of my career, is when we would go to the range, we would practice drills where we would take someone and make them go run a lap or two before they use their firearm under a safe setting, of course. But the human body reacts much differently under stress than it does when it's not.
So, John, with your many years on the force, how many years were you on the force again, just so people know, so I know as well?
On 25 total, but 23 were on the road. That's another thing. I don't know how much of this lady's experience was on the road. I've heard, this is just something I'd heard, I don't know for a fact, that she didn't have many road years. She didn't have much experience on the road.
Well, she was training somebody, so wouldn't she have had to have some experience to be in that position to be a trainer?
I even hate to say this, but I had heard that they were kind of they were stressed for officers. They were stressed for, and it happens all around the country, especially now with the sentiment of defunding the police and doing away with budgets and doing away with the police in general. That this was potentially a victim of that circumstance where they just didn't have the police officers that she had been primarily assigned to desk duty during her career, but it came to the point to where she had to go out. Like I said, I don't know this for a fact. I heard this from someone else's show. I'm not saying this because I know it. I'm saying it just because I heard it. And I don't even know if it's the truth.
John, let me ask you a question straight up. Should she go to jail? Let's say it was an honest mistake. She meant to pull the taser, but she pulled her firearm. Do you think that she should do jail time?
I don't think she should. Now, if she does, am I going to lose sleep? No, honestly.
Then what's your thought process on that, John? I mean, why do you think that she shouldn't have to go to jail for a deadly mistake?
Because she is, at least I know where I work and where I worked, that you should get a certain amount of leeway for having a career. I'm assuming she had a career up to that point, which was an admirable, honorable career where she did everything the right way. And, at some point in time, her memory, her muscle memory, her emotions, whatever failed her, and she wound up shooting and killing this poor guy. And I'm not going to disagree with you when you say he brought it on himself a little bit because of his actions. Doesn't mean he deserved to die. But like I said, if she winds up going to jail, I'm not going to lose sleep over it because there could have been things that she could have done to prepare herself better. And nobody wins in this scenario. The family's not going to be happy if she goes to jail.
They might be.
They might be. Who knows? But it's not. Who knows? I don't know anything about this guy or his family. But it's like we've seen in years past that these politicians and these municipalities give such low-hanging fruit to these people that are involved in these high-stress incidents. You had an incident over there in Cincinnati where somebody was going through a house and the police called on him the realtor, and he was alleging racial bias and whatnot, and the city just went ahead and settled out of court with him. Why? What good reason would you have for that? It's like, why don't you prove that the police officers are doing something wrong first? To me, that's disgusting. But that goes along with, this absolute ridiculous notion that if someone's a victim, that has some type of value in it. There's no value in being a victim. Everybody should avoid being a victim, and everybody should help avoiding others being as victims. What happens is these a-hole lawyers, and them, like Benjamin Crump. You got one over there in Cincinnati. His name escapes me right now. Al Gelhardstein. Guys like that take advantage of these situations, these families. They're grifters. That's all they are.
Come on,
and then you have politicians.
That's not true.
I absolutely
Al
believe.
Gerhardstein is not a
that.
grifter. He's not a grifter.
Absolutely,
He's not a grifter, John. I don't think that's. I mean, you have your opinion, obviously, but he's not a grifter. I think your bias, John. I think your years on the force, your bias is coming out. I think it's coming out in that statement.
Okay.
That's what I think.
I've never had any experience with him. I just see it from the outside. Like I said, he works over there across the river. Most of what he does and most of who he allegedly tries to help are people over there. So, I couldn't say one way or the other. I'm just saying, as a person who's looking at it from this side of the water over that side, that guy's a grifter. So,
a grifter is somebody who is, correct me if I'm wrong, is sort of like a con artist, right? They run cons
like Sean
and
King and people that we've seen here recently that are benefiting from the suffering of others, and it happens all the time, every day, and it's still happening, and it will continue to happen as long as we have.
How is that? That's your bias, John. I'm going to take you to lunch, man, and sit down and penetrate that. That's your bias talking, bro. That's what that is. That's your bias. But so you telling me, let's go back here for a second, because what you just said about Al Gerhardstein is crazy, by the way. But let's put that to the side, difficult as it is, and get back to what we was talking about when you said that. So what's justice in this situation, in your opinion? Again, I'm assuming that it was a mistake. That's what I'm assuming. But you just said that you think that because she had a distinguished career for all these years, that she should get away with mistakenly killing somebody? Where's the justice in that?
I never said that. You put words in my mouth. I never said that.
No, I
You asked me
just summed up the words that came out of your mouth, John.
No. I said that if she has the benefit of being someone who worked in a career successfully over the course of years that she did, and was an honorable and admirable person, if that's a fact, I don't know if it is. She could have sucked. She could have been somebody that was put in a position where she was doing something she shouldn't have been doing. I don't know. If she was a police officer that was serving the community with purpose and being able to do it better than most, or above average, then that should count for something. There's another thing to be said in this country about recidivism. No one talks about recidivism. They like to give a lot of stats and numbers about people who do commit crimes, and the types of people. Look, this person is convicted more than this person, or this type of person is convicted more than that type of person. Look at the individual and tell me how many times they were convicted of that in the past prior to being caught for it again. Recidivism makes a difference when it comes to anyone doing any type of crime. So
maybe that means that she gets a lesser sentence, but it doesn't mean she should just walk after her mistake led to the death of an unarmed man. It was her mistake.
Right.
Like, don't you believe that when people make mistakes, they should pay for them? There's consequences.
It depends on the level of mistake, and this is
let's say it's a deadly mistake.
They lost a life.
John, let's say in this case, it's a deadly mistake that leads to somebody leading their life. Somebody should deal with the consequences, don't you think?
Do you have a list of the charges? I don't recall the charges. They didn't charge her with murder.
They charged her. Hold on, let me get it here. I do have it here. They charged her with. She got 2 charges. She faces first-degree manslaughter, and I think second-degree manslaughter is what I think it is.
Okay. Yeah. So there was really no. They didn't overcharge her. And I think you had mentioned the one that happened in Dallas a few years ago, where the lady was charged and convicted with murder. In my knowledge of the word murder, at least as it applies to the statutes of murder here in the Commonwealth, I didn't think it would rise to that level. But after the conviction, I went back and looked at that and said, oh, well, their definition of murder under this Texas statute does kind of make sense when it comes to her conviction. So But if she's proven, if the prosecution proves that she was criminally negligent, anything, if she was intentionally negligently, criminally, or recklessly or wantonly, if they prove it, and she is convicted of a crime, then she should get an appropriate sentence. You take that appropriate sentence any way you want. And if it was somebody who's done a lot of crummy things over their life, well, maybe they deserve a little bit worse sentence than somebody who's just screwed up. In my mind, if in this case anyway, there's a good possibility that this is something that rises to the level of that municipality paying some money to the family because of a loss.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can see that.
That's another problem we're having. The University of Cincinnati settled with Sam DeBose's family, and I don't want to go down that road again because that's been something that hopefully is behind us. But it's like, you're an entity of the University of Cincinnati. You pay the family out before the criminal trial even comes back. Why? I understand you want to give, if you really are serious about being concerned about this person and their family, I understand about wanting to give them some solace. But you don't go paying them money before finding out if the jury or judge is going to find the person you say is responsible for your loved one's death.
Well, sure you do, man. Because
criminally negligent. Not beforehand.
Well, sure you do. They do it all the time. I mean, the level of in a civil trial is different than a criminal trial. It's two different things. So I don't have a problem with that. But John, I could tell, man, you are deep in your blue wall bag this morning. And I appreciate your honesty, man. I appreciate you bringing a different perspective to the conversation. That's John, a.k.a. the White Wolf right there. Appreciate the call. 1 second here. John, you still there?
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know if that was me or you.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I think it was you.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I was just saying, man, I appreciate the call, man, and giving us your opinion, because it's different from a lot of people, even my own. I still think you deep in your blue wall bag on this one, especially when you're talking about Al Gerharstein. But I mean, that's your opinion. It is what it is.
It is one of those things. I mean, you would probably come to the defense of a radio personality, knowing them that, if they did something that was something you wouldn't consider to be right, if they had a career, it was not involving something to this level, you know what I mean? But I do believe if she's convicted and she receives any type of punishment that includes jail time, I'm not going to cry over it now, unless it's something that's ridiculously off the wall. But still, my personal opinion, she screwed up. She needs to pay the price. She needs to do something. But
yeah, but the question is, would you cry if she's found not guilty? See, a lot of people, if she's found not guilty and she walks with no jail time, there'll be people that are being their feelings about it because they feel like justice is not served.
Well, in that case, I would think that either they didn't charge her appropriately or the prosecution didn't prove its case, honestly.
Okay. Well, John, thanks for your call, man. I appreciate you.
Good talking to you, man. Take care.
Yeah, most def. That's John, a.k.a. the White Wolf of Cyber Wakanda, a.k.a. the Chop Shop. Appreciate him. He was a veteran of the police force. I'm glad to hear he's retired, man. Living his best life, retired. Oh, man, we should all be so lucky to be retired and just be chilling and just be doing fishing and traveling, eating, doing what Drop is doing, Drop smoking weed and walking every day and working on his podcast every day. That's what he's doing. Hating on Biden and asking, where's Obama? That's what Drop is doing. But I appreciate the call. It's been a minute. And I meant that, man. I love to meet you. We can I get some tea, you get some coffee, whatever you drink. We can have a tea, beer summit and get to know you better, man, for sure. Appreciate you checking out the show. John and I do not always agree. We do not. But he likes the show for whatever reason. And from time to time, he'll chime in and share his thoughts. And for me, listen, I can't. If that's your opinion, that's your opinion. It just gives us something else to talk about. But I disagree completely. I think there are some things, if you cause a loss of life, then you might lose some time. They're going to sit you down. And so maybe she don't do a lot of time because they take into consideration her long and distinguished career. But I just think the precedence that as an officer, you can make a mistake like that and lose and take a life and you're not held responsible is dangerous. And then in terms of him calling Al Gerharstein, what do you call him, a grifter? I don't see that. How are you a grifter? Because you're responding to cases. You didn't cause the case. You know what I'm saying? You're responding to it. I don't see it. He was in his protect the blue bag on that one, deep into his bag on that one. I don't see it, but that's his opinion. It is what it is. Yo writes, thank God he's not a judge, lawyer, or juror. He could be a juror. He could be a juror. Jack writes, retired on my tax dollars while they hunt. Is that right? Oh boy. Dare writes, culture of impunity with police. Deborah writes, let the door not hit him where the good Lord split him. John has been down for a while. I want to say day one he's been down. So I appreciate the call. I do. Nakia writes, you know the tricks. Listen, we can't all think and say the same thing. You know what I'm saying? If we gonna have a good audience, I know who the audience is. We know who the audience is. But for me, you know, those divergent points of views, the clash of ideas, as long as it's respectful. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody. I'm not here for that. But that clash of ideas, that helps us. That helps us. So, you know, John had a completely different viewpoint than me. Completely different. But like I said, it don't have to be any less valid. You know, that's his viewpoint. And there's a lot of people that'll look at this case and feel the same way. Like, she shouldn't do no time. She shouldn't do no time. So we shall see. Jack writes, ask him if he supports Danny Hill. Why is it always the question, man? Any Republican anywhere close to Cincinnati, ask him if he supports Dan Hill. That's all. Oh man, y'all are hilarious, man. Y'all are hilarious. Yo writes, Nate, hang up on, bro. Don't let this POS kill our positive black vibes with this KKK hate. I don't think that was KKK hate. I don't register John that way. John just has a different opinion. You know, he's got a different viewpoint. He's got that pro-police viewpoint. That's it. I'm not going to assume that's the KKK because that's not the same. Every police officer, white police officer that has a different viewpoint does not mean they're KKK. That's not the same. And that's the nature of any good talk show, man. You want that clash of ideas. As I said before, we want people to have a different viewpoint and feel comfortable enough to call in and add to the conversation. It just gives us more to think about and talk about. That's how I look at it. See, I'm long past the days where I think my flow is going to change somebody's opinion. That's not why I do what I do. I'm not trying to change anybody's opinion, right? I'm just trying to present my opinion. You can bounce your thoughts off of it, and whatever that ends up helping you in any way or keeps the conversation going. It is what it is. Sister V writes, he just mad because Gerhardstein is kicking y'all asses. That could be it. Brent writes, a grifter is someone who will switch positions inside only to get money. Yeah, I don't know Al Gerhardstein like that. Of course, I'm aware of his work. I think he's been on the show a couple times, and I know he has over the years. I don't register him as that. I ain't saying the man is perfect, but I don't think he's that. Brent writes, a grifter is someone like Candace Owens. Exactly. Candace Owens is a grifter. Yeah, she definitely is. She a straight con artist. When she started out on YouTube, she was on some anti-Trump stuff, but she wasn't getting no love. She wasn't getting no plays. She wasn't getting no views. So what did she do? She was like, oh, I see Rhinestone and Burlap over here, aka Diamond and Silk. Oh, they getting a lot of love. They're unique. They're unicorns. So I want to be a black female unicorn for Trump. So she switched up the game to get attention, and it worked for her. Sister Iris writes, where does this guy work? He did work in Kentucky as a police officer. I'm not sure if it was state police or if it was, I don't think it was state police. I can't remember where he worked. Somewhere in northern Kentucky, I want to say, John. Correct me if I'm wrong. Jack writes, Trump is a grifter. Exactly. Trump is a grifter. Trump wasn't no damn Republican. He was a Democrat his whole life, but when he saw an opportunity to run, he ran with it. Talking all that Republican nonsense, and they just ate it up, man. They loved it. Grifter? Nah. Crystal writes, bye, John. Deborah writes, see, this is a perfect example of how they think. Black person must have been wrong. White should always have the power to kill. Sister Iris writes, this guy's a damn fool. Charles writes, damn, John, grifters. Then what is Joe Dieters? Yeah, he that grifter comment. That's I'm not saying that Al Gerhartstein isn't open for some kind of critique or criticism. I'm not sure what that would be, but grifter, I don't think that's it. That doesn't sound right to me at all. Ronald writes, paraphrase, yeah, she killed the poor guy, but she was a cop for 20 plus years and made a mistake. Cut her some slack. That's essentially what John said. And should your history be taken in consideration during sentencing? Yeah, it should be. I would say it about anybody. Like, if it was me or you and you kept your nose clean, you had no record, and you make a mistake, a deadly mistake, should the judge take your past history into consideration? Absolutely, they should. Same thing with an officer. That don't mean you getting off scot-free, though. You ain't getting off scot-free. Nakia writes, if she shot and killed my son, I would want her to answer for that. Me too. That was my son. I want justice. I want to see you do some jail time. Some jail time. And people are reasonable. See, that's the thing about black people. Black people are very reasonable. They try to play it like we not, but black people are the most reasonable people in America. There are no people in America more reasonable than black people. And I'm sure the parents and the family of Dante, and I seen his mother, it was so hard, man. I was caught up in my feelings. She was like sobbing. She was doing like a street side interview. It was so emotional. God, my heart. So tough, difficult to see people in pain like that. You done lost your loved one. I got children. I think about it, that was my kid. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. I got nieces and nephews I care about. Just terrible. Absolutely terrible. I was definitely in my feelings. I'm getting in my feelings right now. I'm welling up right now about it. I'm 100 with you about it because I hate to see people in pain like that. And she deserves justice. She deserves justice. Her son's life mattered. Ron P. De Niro, what's up, Ron P? I see you on Facebook living your best life, man. I'll be living vicariously through my Facebook friends, man, because I'm not an empty nester yet. And so I'm living vicariously through all my empty nester friends. Go out there and have fun and post your photographs. And I'll sit at home and be like, damn, 16 more years. 16 more years. Oh, my God. It sounds like a death sentence when you put it that way. Oh, my God. Where my empty nesters at? Y'all having your good life, going to Vegas on a humble, like, you know what? Let's go to Vegas. Must be nice. Must be nice. I'll be there in about 16 years. Some empty nester jokes. Nat writes, John never fooled me. I don't think John was ever trying to fool anybody. I mean, I wasn't surprised to hear John say that at all. I mean, on other cases, John has been that voice. You know, he is. That's his stand. And that's what I like. Don't change up. Don't try to do what they do in Rome. Don't switch up for the room. Be you. You come into the chop shop, you got a contrary opinion, stay with it. Be you. Yo writes, I'd love to see John and Sister Iris having a nice, friendly conversation. That'd be interesting. I may be here for that. Drop writes, a grifter is a practitioner of confidence tricks. Okay, look at you all in your dictionary this morning. Tracy writes, one of my kids is leaving this month, Nate. I see you gonna rub it in my face. Yeah, I know you and your hubby soon to be empty nesters, and I'm happy for you. And when you start traveling, Tracy, please post your pictures so I can live vicariously through you. I know. He's 17 today. He's 18 today. One of our friends, we have some couple friends, and they don't have any children. My friend, he had a son, and he told us that when his son turned 18, that him and his wife, they had a party. They got drunk. They had a party. And knowing them the way that we do, I could see it in my mind's eye. They was like slow motion dancing to the house. We getting our life back. We getting our life back. We getting our life back. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, right? Tracy writes, I'm sad, actually. I feel you on that. Little Buddha, or now medium Buddha. It's a whole thing, child. It's a whole thing. But medium Buddha, she's 16 going on 25. She swear up and down every day, I can't wait to get 18. I can't wait to get 18. I can't wait to get 18. When I get 18, when I get 18, when I get 18, y'all ain't gonna see me. Oh, I'm going for college. I ain't never coming back. Now, I keep looking at her like, sis, you don't know the cost of living out here. We'll see. So I'm prepared for her to be with us for whatever long time it takes, right? I'm prepared for that. I will not allow myself to get excited about that. But then I feel you, Tracy, because I'm like, damn, my little girl leaving the house. She leaving the nest. How am I going to protect her? So I feel you. Woody writes, nothing like being an empty nester. We travel, travel, travel. Are you going to rub it in? This is my they rubbing it in face. Okay. Tanika writes, I don't ever want my sweet daughter to leave. I only have 6 more years. I'm so sad. I feel you, yo. I feel you. I feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? I feel the same way. I'm like, what? You talking about going to college? You ain't going to no college? I want you to stay right here with your daddy. Not your dad, but your daddy. Right? I think it's normal. We will adjust. I'm going to adjust. You know what I'm saying? My wife, she going to be broken hearted. She going to be all in her feelings. Watch. Where my baby at? Like, you want to go out? Wait, sweetheart, you want to go out? Where my baby at? Well, she ain't calling me. It's like, if you don't let it go, let it go. Clarence writes, we got 14 years left. You know what? I'm glad we in the same boat, Clarence. Thank you, bro. I'm in it together. We in together, man. You got 14. We got 16. Well, my son is 6. So we really got 12, actually. But I'm putting 2 more years on it because boys are slower. So we'll see. Crystal writes, I know Crystal's an empty nest. You took a whole trip, didn't you? She was gone. I love the pictures, too. I was living vicariously through the pictures, Crystal. I was living vicariously through the pictures when you posted them. Crystal writes, one thing about them leaving the nest, they do return. Oh, I'm trying to do everything I can to set my kids up in their own place. If I got to pay for your apartment for a couple months, we're going to pay for that apartment for a few months to get you on your feet so you can get the hell up out of here. I'm going to miss you. It's going to be bittersweet, but then me and your mama about to do adult stuff. We're doing all the adulting we can. We're going to get it all in. Sister V writes, I'll host the beer summit for John and Iris. Is that right? Oh, man. Over Esoteric, Black owned. At least one of the owners is Black. Grocery shopping in your pantry. I can see that. I'm cool with that. Like I said, I'm prepared to take care of them to the day I die. You know what I'm saying? Whatever mommy and daddy got, you got it. Whatever we got, almost, you got. Keep telling them, this ain't your house, it's our house. This ain't your stuff, this is our stuff. You live with us. It's all of my stuff. Why are you in my bed? She laying in her bedroom. Why are you in my bed? I had to tell my daughter sometimes. She'd be like, this is my room. So it's so funny, man. My family, man, this little family we got, I'll say it again, and my in-laws know this. They was cracking jokes about it. I'm not really like go to people's house and stay for days and days type of traveler. I'm more of a get a hotel, then we go for a little while, and then at night I go back to the hotel and I can breathe a little bit. But, for money and then really for time, because when you got like a little kid and then your in-law, we're at my brother-in-law's house, they've got young children as well, then the cousins can play. So you want to maximize that time. So we end up staying in my brother-in-law's house. Beautiful home. Very comfortable. Very nice. Love to see my people doing well. They're doing very comfortable. And but still, I'm just not a stay in people's houses and then we all sharing 1 or 2 bathrooms. That's just not me, right? But I do it for the team. We get back and everybody went to their rooms, right? Like nobody in the house really wanted to be around because we've been around people for so long. Everybody want to be by themselves. The wifey was in our bedroom. I'm downstairs in my office as I am right now, doing what I do. My son was in his room. My daughter was in her room. I go from my office here up to my daughter's room. I'm just sitting with her. She's like, making faces, right? I'm like, what's up? She's like, I kind of want to be alone. I've been around people for the last few days. I'm like, what the hell? So I just shut the door and walked out. Like, okay, sis, you got it. I'm like, who are these children? Come on, I just kind of want to be alone. The hell? But I gave it to her, though. Tiffany writes, black folks, stop putting your kids out at 18. We are the only ones who do that mess. I'm not putting anybody out. They can stay with me. My kids can stay with me as long as they're productive and doing something. And they on their way out. Hey, you ain't going to be 30 with me. That ain't going to happen. I say 25, 26, something like that. Then we're going to really, really give you a strong push out the nest. And it's really not out the nest. It's really go live your life. Go be an adult. Go take that responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Go take that responsibility. So I ain't trying to kick nobody out. I don't want to kick nobody out. Before we roll out of here, and man, I've had just such a ball. I have a pleasure doing this show with you every single morning. I just want to remind you that today's show is brought to you by our friends over at the Ohio Kings. They got their first, the season is kicking off this weekend. First home game is this Saturday, December the 4th at 6 p.m. It's the Ohio Kings versus the Cincinnati Movement. Tickets are $10. VIP courtside are $20. Now, they host all of their home games here in Cincinnati over at Cincinnati State. That's at 3520 Central Park Way here in beautiful Cincinnati. VIP includes free concessions. Kids under 12 and under get in free when accompanied by an adult. Free haircuts for kids. Masks are required. So they want you to mask up, even if you don't, that's not your thing. If you go to the game, please bring a mask with you. Masks are required. They want to help with the spread of COVID as much as possible. I have gone to a game before. I enjoyed it. Honestly and truly, I thought it was fun. I like the game of basketball, but then I like the idea of it, and I liked it as locally Black owned. So I liked all of it. I like basketball. I like the fact that we got a semi-pro team here in Cincinnati, and I like the fact that it was locally Black owned, and it was a good time. We had a great time. Me, the wifey, the two children went. We posted some photographs on Instagram. We had a gang of fun. Some athletes out there too, man. I don't care what nobody says. It's some real talent in Cincinnati. So again, first game is coming up this Saturday, December the 4th at 6 p.m. At 6 p.m. Good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's today, Wednesday? Yeah. Check back tomorrow. I may have something for you. All right. Good morning to you. Janice writes, good morning. Good morning to you, Janice. Good morning to you. TNT writes, hopefully they go to HBCU, best college experience for our kids. They work together to make sure everyone succeed. My daughter's thinking about that. My son he's thinking about toys. His tooth came out over the weekend, so he's thinking about if the tooth fairy is going to bring him something. Now, he knows that the tooth fairy is us. He knows his mom and dad. I don't know why we do this. The tooth fairy is Black in our house. Everybody is Black. Santa's Black. Jesus is Black. The Illuminati is Black. Right? Everything's Black. Oh, my gosh. I'm having too much fun, man. I don't want to go, but I got a bunch of things going on today. I got a message from Ask Ashley. She had an emergency situation come up with her son, so she won't be doing Midday Juice today. But keep your eyes on what we're doing here with CDM, producing more podcasts. I was just having a Zoom meeting yesterday with some folks who I hope will, develop some really cool ideas, and perhaps we can work together on something really, really dope based here in the city of Cincinnati. So listen. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. I really appreciate you. All right. Please like and share today's show. Yesterday was Giving Tuesday, and I didn't really say anything about Giving Tuesday, but I'll put this up again if people want to donate to the Nathan Ivey Show and what we're doing here at CDM. Quite frankly, we've been doing this show for 4 years, and this show has had an impact on the local culture. No hands down about it. No doubt about it. Anybody would say otherwise is just hating. And it's just the power of a man who just won't stop. And that is me. I just will not stop. I'm hard-headed. I'm incorrigible. And when I had a single-minded determination, I'm not going to stop until I accomplish my goals. Simple as that. So if you'd like to be a part of that and maybe make a one-time donation, you can find me on PayPal, Nathan Ivey Show, or Cash App, Nathan Ivey Show. And if you want to become a patron, it's very simple. Patreon.com, patron.com/Nathan Ivey Show. And you can read more about what the plan is and the overall vision and decide whether that's something you want to be involved in. Again, I appreciate you in advance. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. I'll be back with you, hopefully better than ever tomorrow morning, bright and early. We'll chop it up on people, politics, and pleasure. And remember our motto. Let's say it together. Winners focus on winning, and losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.
You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
Back again like flu season, I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving, don't give a I don't care. Did the by my lonesome, no wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run, all I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my totem is nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings I throw all my pain on percussion. The disgusting, I hear them bragging about that they did and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you all my spot at the feast. I've been on gold.